Honestly, I feel like me getting the hell out of here for 2 weeks, it was kind of a long time coming, because I had a bunch of notes, so here's how I'm gonna explain to the deadbeats why I decided to take a 2-week break and what. I had a bunch of notes. I think I'm just not gonna read them. I think I'm not going to. I think I'm just gonna choose my words. There are 2 parts. There are two major parts to me being like, oh man, I gotta stop this for a little bit. Half of it is anger and disagreements with the company, and then half is my own issues that I recognize are like my fault. Yeah, so there's 2 parts. Yeah, the first part I feel is especially kind of, got folks riled up, but yeah, I think sometimes at a certain point there's only so much like words can do. You like ask over and over again, hey, can we fix this? Hey, look, I don't agree with this. I don't think this is fair and whatnot. And all you hear back is, all right, we'll send in your feedback. And then you never hear back. And then another problem happens. And then you put it on the list, and the list gets longer and longer and longer. And then at a certain point, I'm like, well, I'm gonna do something now. Every workplace ever, exactly. Every workplace. So my case isn't exactly special or anything like that. I do want to say it was not my intention to scare you guys, but I wanted to get Cover's attention. I wanted them to message me and say, all right, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm happy you asked. And I wrote like the longest paragraph I've ever written in my life to my manager, who's done nothing wrong, by the way. And so I feel terrible, but I did what I had to do. And I feel like, it's just tough. I felt like there was nothing I could do. And one thing that I feel like is extremely like strong, my strong point that I'm actually really proud of, is that I have a very strong will. I'm like an extremely willful being, where I believe that if I put my nose to the grindstone and work super hard and just always go at it and give 100%, someday something good's gonna happen for me. And look at all the freaking wonderful things that have happened because of that. So I live with that like mindset, right? And so I felt like I lost my will. At a certain point, it sounds all dramatic, but I really did. I felt like it was gone. At a certain point, there was like a very specific straw that like broke the camel's back. I don't think they want me to go away, so I think that they will listen to me, and if they don't, then I'll just do it again. I'll stop streaming again, and and they'll go, wait, no, stop, is the hope. So I'll do it again. No matter what way you look at it, we, like us talents, we are hololive. Like, and if people stop supporting hololive, as much as there's this beautiful sentiment of I want to support the talent, I want to support them, as so wonderful and pure-hearted as that sentiment is, if folks stop supporting hololive, then we will stop being supported. And it's like a balancing act that, the only way that I can get their support back is if I like go indie or something like that, and I don't want to do that. I mean, look at the opportunities that I've gotten here because I'm here, and look at, what they've, done for me, and even putting that aside, like Apple, Gundam, like these are things that I would love to see a world where independent talents get a chance to get those opportunities. But as it stands right now, it's like a 0.01%. And it's so frustrating because I feel like if I complain too much about the company outwardly, people will be like, all right, well, screw it. Maury's not happy there. I can't support Cover anymore. I can't support hololive anymore. They leave, and then they're gone until I leave. And it's such a freaking hard situation to deal with. So that's the main reason why I don't speak very openly about issues that I have. But there was like a straw that broke the camel's back situation. A lot of my main like anger, which has been building recently, is about the show, the concert. I want it to be good, and I think the staff like hear me kind of loud and clear. So I'm not the only one complaining about this stuff. It's been rough. in regards to the EN fourth concert, how I feel about it. I think it's going to be a good show, but it's been really frustrating myself and some others. There's just too much stuff. Obviously, behind the scenes, I can't give details. I have to be vague. Contractually, I have to be vague. But I think the staff are working really hard to make a great show, but there are just so many logistical nightmares that, you know, I'm trying to tell them about. And, you know, it's worrisome for us because if the show isn't good, people won't buy tickets again. And if we don't sell tickets, there won't be another show, and we all want to do the show, and it's, yeah, troublesome. Like other things that I'm, you know, unhappy about, and I can't, like, give, of course, details, but in terms of, like, collaborative, like, merchandise, you know, and whatnot, you know, if you compare that to talent premium goods and whatnot, you know, I want the deadbeats to buy the talent premium goods, right? Because I get the majority share for that, you know? But then, oh, really cool brand wants to collab with you, like, how about it? I'm like, yeah, let's go, what's the percent? And I'm like, well, now I kind of don't want to do it anymore, you know? It's just the drinking show. No, well, I mean, I'll be honest, I was kind of like, huh? But after talking to some Japanese friends, I tried not to, like, I was trying not to be, like, angry about that, because, like, horoyoi is such an obvious pun. Like, to actually get mad at them about that is very silly, I think, because I think it was Ririka also did something that had the same name, but, like, spelled differently. I mean, it's just such an obvious pun. So I was kind of like, all right, I'm gonna rib him a little bit for that, but I wasn't really mad about that. It did kind of make me think, though, and I had a thought about even things like voice pack, like script and stuff like that. I was like, I think it's really nice that we can request to have, you know, staff write them for us, but, like, when it comes to EM members, I'm like, they really don't watch us or know us, huh? You know? Little things with, like, you know, messing up some EN talents' names or confusing them, you know, during certain times. I'm like, did you not know that this was Iris? And not Bibu or something like that. It's just things like that, like, they piled up over time. And I started thinking to myself, I don't know how this makes me feel, you know? I mean, I think EN as a whole, there are little things behind the scenes. I wish I could give you more details, but, you know, some things are better left unsaid, I think. And just know that I think EN could be treated a little bit better behind the scenes. I need to give the disclaimer to the deadbeats again that I do have confidence and I like myself, I do, and I think I have strong points, and I think I also have weak points. But I feel like I'm gonna have a moment of, I'm just gonna be real honest with the deadbeats. Maybe not like in like an oversharing way, but just real candid with y'all. It's okay if you know, are not happy about it, but the truth of the matter is, I think I've been lying to you guys, but also myself. Not specifically to you guys, but also myself. Which is, I am pretending that I like to stream more than I actually do. And there's a reason for it. To be extremely honest with y'all, there are a lot of folks who I see their comments that see me as, like, as it stands, the face of EN, as it stands right now. Not everybody feels this way, by the way, but there are a lot of people that do. And because of that, I look at my analytics, like, really hard, like, really intensely, and I don't talk about it out loud because of things like pride and stuff like that, and just, you know, but when I look at, like, my own personal, like, I think these aren't the numbers of somebody who is the face of something. And I thought the only way that I could, like, fix it was, well, you know, maybe I'm, like, you know, not entertaining enough to, like, I'm not, like, the best streamer in the world, so I can't really bring in a ton of people to watch me. That's fine. I'll make up for it by streaming all the time. And I guess I felt, it's so stupid, but I thought to myself, sorry, deadbeats, sorry, you know, the person that you see as the face of EN isn't good enough to have kept up the momentum that I had years ago, is, like, what I was thinking to myself. Which is stupid, because there's also the fact that 5-6 years ago, you had 5 people to choose from. You have 5 streamers, you have 5 VTubers to choose from. Who do you want to watch? This one seems good. All right. Now we're many years down the line, and this industry has grown so much. There's a person out there that will fit the exact thing that you like and the exact like personality that you like, and there's so many wonderful people out there to watch. It's like a really saturated market, and I think it's maturing at this point. And I looked at me not being able to keep all that momentum from years ago, and my first immediate thought was like, yeah, I'm not good enough, I suck. Man, that's so lame that I thought that, but I did. And yeah, so I thought the only way that I can remedy this is if I just stream forever and ever as much as I can. And so I think it's probably better for me to just not care about those things and just stream as much as I want to, which I think at a certain point I want to do a schedule where it's like 5 days a week for like the same time, being like 3 to 4 hours or something like that, you know? And I'm not gonna keep lying to myself thinking that I love streaming these long hours. I love streaming every single day as much as possible, you know? I think that would be for the better. And maybe things can't be like they were 5-6 years ago in the beginning of EN, and I think that's all right. I've like kind of come to terms with that over the past 2 weeks. I also went to see a baseball game. I went to see baseball. I've only ever watched baseball on TV, but basically there was a guard who saved my life in a weird situation. Huh? Wait, what? Yeah, it was just weird. Yeah, there's a weird guy, and this guard saved me, and we became friends. And yeah, he came with his wife to Tokyo, and we went to go see a game. But he was like, I'm in Tokyo with my wife. Want to go to a baseball game? I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. So we went to go see baseball because he likes baseball. I've never been to a baseball game before. Like a real one, you know? And in Japan, it's so cool because they have like cheers and stuff like that for individual players. Yeah, and then I had a beer. I had the first beer I'd had in a long time. And that was really nice. Yeah. But there was a pitcher that I thought was really cool. I'm like, wow, I think the pitcher's my Oshi. And my guard friend was like, yeah, you know, in Japan, like baseball players, it's a lot like, it's actually, they share a lot of similarities with like idols. Like people have like an Oshi ball player and stuff like that. Yeah. I was like, what an interesting day to understand Japanese, because I like look over to my friend and I'm like, are these guys talking bad about their own team? And he's like, yeah, they do that. Don't worry about it. They love them. It's just tough love. I'm like, oh, brother. My God. Because the dudes behind me are like, this guy sucks. And I'm like, what? Everyone does that. And then I started thinking really deeply about my own job and stuff like that, and about like the entertainment industry and stuff like that, you know? Maybe people are like, you know, yelling and screaming, but it's kind of your job to just keep playing ball, you know? That's just why you're there, just play some ball. But, you know, you also hope that you love playing baseball, too, you know? And something that also really resonated with me was that, you know, everybody's like cheering and having like a normal time, right? And then there's this one guy who's like getting ready to go up at bat, and he's like super nervous and like, you know, worried about whether he's gonna do good. And like everybody in the stadium could see. So like when he got up to like start batting, it's not like anybody was like, you know, cheering in particular or being like overly excited for him or anything. But as soon as everybody started to see that he was like, you know, nervous and not sure if he could do it, and like that he was, you know, scared of being at bat and whatnot, everybody starts cheering and they start going like, you can do it, you know, whereas maybe before it was kind of like not really, you know, on their minds, but they see that something's wrong and like they want to cheer him on and, you know, hope that he does his best, and like they don't want him to, you know, be scared to do his thing and, you know, play some baseball. It was wholesome, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of my own self a little bit sometimes, you know. I think it's easy to kind of think, I don't really know if anybody in particular will care if I'll be gone or not around and whatnot, because there's not always huge fanfare, you know. Things like settle into the usual schedule, and, you know, things just are like, you know, normal and whatnot. You know, and I guess if the voices cheering for you aren't always like constantly really, you know, loud and like, you know, go, you can do it and whatnot, maybe you start thinking like, oh, maybe maybe I'm not doing a good job and whatever. But then as soon as, you know, people kind of see that you're down, all of a sudden all this like love and support that I wasn't really sure existed comes out, and I'm like, wow, I was wrong. So I thought about that while watching baseball, being an entertainer. It's a little heavy right now. But I don't really think it's a negative thing. I think it's actually a super positive thing, you know? More people are supporting you and cheering you on than you think, you know? It's just hard to see when, you know, you aren't like always, you know, how do I say it? Maybe it's hard to see, like, if, you know, you don't tell people that something's wrong, then they don't think anything is wrong, and that you really like need that support, you know, because like you got this, you know, you're locked in and you're strong, and you know, I think I have an image of being extremely mentally strong, and I think it's been a really dark time in general for Holo. I'm not the only one that feels this way. It's been a dark time, but because there's so many good things on the horizon too, I also feel like if we as a group can stick through it and just be there for each other and support each other, and if our fans are here supporting us and still pushing us forward, if we can just do that for a bit longer, I think a really golden, amazing time is coming up. But it all depends on how things go this year and next year, I feel, is how I feel about it. So it's a group effort, you know, the talents and the fans all together. If we just, you know, be strong during this kind of darker time, and it's a pretty dark time, I think there's a really great, you know, light at the end of the tunnel. So I don't know.